Hi guys. So something a little different, although to be fair everything on here is something a little different of late. We have a door intercom here. This is the indoor station with a video screen. It's designed to be used with an outdoor station with a button and a camera on it. This is a Timeguard unit and it is utterly dead. There's something very wrong with this. We've had a quick look at it and to be fair it's not really worth the effort of rescuing it, so it's a victim for us. So they're fairly simple devices. I'll open this up. We've already disconnected it. So we've got a 15 volt DC input, which doesn't actually seem to be that sensitive to being 15 volts. We've got another 15 volt input. We have an output for an extra door chime, and then we have an RJ45 which goes off and connects to our remote station. That's all that the base is. So the way these work is, most of you that have done electronics at school will have made an intercom. It was one of the things that was quite big on the old GCSE syllabus. You'd make yourself a little wired intercom. But obviously we're sending a lot more over here than audio, so these actually work with FM. I couldn't tell you what the frequency is or the way they do it, but they provide a 12 volt supply via that RJ11 down to the other end and superimpose an RF signal on top of that, and then we do some other signaling at DC level to run the locks and things like that. This one, when it's plugged in, gives no display and crackles, buzzes and does some very strange things. We've deoxygenated all the pots, we've cleaned it, we've cleaned all of these hybrids off, and with something like this the point of no return is reached fairly quickly. So in regards to what's in here, well, it looks busy, but it's not actually as busy as you might imagine. What I'm going to do is spin it down there. I'm going to zoom you in, and you've got a good view of what's going on down here. Let me grab a pointy stick, and we're going to go with the posh screwdrivers today. We'll want that handle in a minute. So what we have here is, it's fairly well divided into blocks. So we have an LCD display module here. This has 3 pins going in, which makes me believe that it's going to be positive, minus and composite video. We have a ribbon here that goes around to the actual TFT module, which would need to be removed separately to this board, so we'll bear that in mind before we destroy it, because that might be a useful little TFT module. We have our DC power in, and this is wired in such a way, and I believe this is where is it? Nope, that's center positive. I thought it might have been center negative. This is wired so that when you plug an adapter in, it cuts off the 15 volt input over here. Got a bit of power supply circuitry. We've got a bit more random stuff over here. We have an unknown microcontroller. I think I was able to find a data sheet on this, and I will pop it in the bottom or somewhere. And then we've got our RF and audio section over here, and then we've got our line interface here. Quite how this line interface works, I'm not sure. Looking at it, I don't know that this is something we'd be able to map out that easily. We have an FM IF section here, which is presumably being used in the reception of the audio and video. We have a audio power amp here, which is coupled directly to the speaker, which is on the back of the board. We have a linear voltage regulator made of discretes, although I think I saw... No, that's not a 7/8 series regulator there, so we've got at least 2 voltages going on there. We have our relay, which is used for the line interface here, a microphone here which comes on here, so I'm guessing there is microphone preamplification going on here. There is 1, 2, 3 crystal filters going on there. We've got a couple of IF cans. So we've got the audio amplifier here. We have this little device here, which if I pull it off, which is a ringtone generator, and I might mess around with that a bit to see what we can do with that. And then we have another PCB on the side which contains the switches for the various ringtones and things, so we'll get rid of that. That has been cleaned, deoxygenated and made no difference. And that's all there is to it, so we'll tear into it. Now we've got a separate board here which is for the buttons, so let's take some bits out. Let's take that button board out first. Helps me put the screwdriver together properly. There's more on that than I thought. So we've got just 2 buttons, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transistors on there, I think, for 2 buttons and 2 LEDs. That seems a bit overkill. And all the electrolytics on the back. What were they doing with this? Is there something on here that could be responsible for our problems? It looks grotty, but it doesn't look particularly bad. It's all hand soldered. We've got a little bit of hot snot on the end there. There's nothing really of interest there. I think for the next job we will take this LCD module off, and I think we will power that up separately with a composite source, probably on another video or on a short. I don't have many composite sources kicking around, to be honest. Get those out. Lovely click on those self tappers indicates that this is the first time this has been apart. And then we will just ease this bail upwards, and we should be able to just gently pull that out. That's a single-sided board, and we've actually got, I don't know if it will zoom in for that. It's actually got our connections in there. So we've got not used, ground, brightness, plus 5 volt, ground, cold, probably colour, plus 5 volt. We've got a 12 volt in, 2 grounds, and composite video in. So that could be a really useful little board. It's got those horrible aluminium electrolytic capacitors on that are renowned for letting go, and I see no signs of leakage in there at all. It is an 8-digit display controller, and then we've got another one there, HWCAT, so that's an 8D02D and a CSC 3100. We'll see if we can find out what those actually are. There's a couple of adjustments on the board, and obviously we've got power supply section here. Not much interest in there. Let's just get this display out. Not sure what we'd use this for. I mean, we do use small TFT displays, but we generally directly drive them over SPI. So that's a little bracket to retain the display. And I was kind of hoping the display would just pop out, but there you go. So we're behind a little polycarbonate protective sheet, so the display is actually in really good nick. Display's made by Data Image. There is a part number on there, but I doubt we'll get to it. No, can't quite see that part number. So what I'm going to do, because we'll probably come back to these later, is I have a little anti-static bag here, and I will pop those 2 into this bag. More to keep the display safe than anything else. And I think we'll come back to that. We'll have a look at that in another video. It won't be a particularly long one, but I've got some random little composite displays, including a couple of 1-inch CRTs, so we might come and have a look at those in one go. Let's have a look at this main board. Lovely clicks. Now this is supposed to be weatherproof, and I'm looking at those push buttons wondering how they could be weatherproof, because they're very loosey-goosey. In fact, there's no seals on any of that anyway, so I don't understand how that could be weatherproof. Mind you, actually no, it wouldn't be, because this is the bit that's supposed to be indoors. Ignore me. More screws to go in the bucket of screws. Come on. This is caused by being too busy looking at the camera than what I'm doing. Any more for any more? I can fill another one there, but that's all out. And what have we got left? We've got a microphone over here. we've got our speaker there. So let's just lift that out of the way. Oh wow, that's different. So obviously we've got our fairly basic 8-ohm speaker. We've got a little electric condenser there, but can you see on top of that button for the LCD, if it will focus, they've used a little bit of broken circuit board to space the button out. It's a little cut bit of circuit board. There's three. Don't think they're 805. I think they're smaller. There's 3 points for the thing there, and they've literally just stuck it on. So one would assume that there was a problem with that button not working properly. So what have we got? NEC B772. That's a transistor being used as part of a regulator circuit. We have a U there, which is a KIA431A. No idea what that is. We have a A1658 there, which is another power transistor. And we have an I can't quite read that, B894Y, which is also a power transistor. Actually, you know, that looks more like a traditional linear regulator. So we've got that center pin grounded, which doesn't mean anything. We've got that on a positive rail. It comes from the positive of this 25-volt cap. So where does that go? That comes out, goes back to the fuse, comes back down here into these transistors. I think that is some form of linear regulator. It's nicely secured. You've got 2 screws through the board there, and it's not going anywhere. Right, the board overall. Well, I can see cold solder joints already. We've got one there on the bottom of the audio amp. We've possibly got a couple on the bottom of the IF IC. To be fair, the overall quality of the soldering on this is actually fairly awful. We have a mystery chip down there. That is an NE556. Okay, I'm not quite sure why that would be down there, but it is. There's not an awful lot else on the back of the board. There is an awful lot of discretes on here, as you can see. We've got a bicolor LED, and then our video comes in from here. So where does that actual video signal come from? It's hard to see because it's been scholasticed. Where does our video signal come from? It goes into a plated through hole there. It comes round here, comes down here. So yeah, the video signal is definitely coming over the RF as well. We've got a lot of unfitted components here. Definitely what looks like a regulator. VD1, not sure what that would be. And obviously other connectors. It's a weird mix of through hole and plated through, and obviously it's a double-sided load as well, so it makes it a bit of a difficult board to actually produce. I mean, I'm sure this could have been made cheaper. I don't know how old it is though. That says 602. That's an MDT 2005 EP. That's the processor. That says 6B. There's a one on the relay. Titan BO, that's not a manufacturer I recognise. Nope, don't see one there. Audio amp, H6. So are we looking at 2006 here? There's another transistor there. 6B. So yeah, I think we're looking at 2006 here. So I'm surprised that this isn't completely surface mount, or the majority of it isn't surface mount, but I'm sure they had a reason. Look at all the pull-up resistors underneath that micro there. It's a very complex unit, and Timeguard are considered to be quite high quality, so it's a design they've probably had kicking around for a long time that they've just not felt the reason to change. There's an 060510 on the board there. I'm looking for a board version number or a board copyright date, but I don't think there is anything. So yeah, there's not really much in there. We're basically receiving everything over RF. That's essentially an FM tuner, which would be bringing in the composite video as well. I can't see the resolution on that camera would be particularly spectacular doing it that way, but that's it. That is definitely another little relay in there as well. But yeah, there we go. There's plenty of salvageable parts in there if you wanted them, but you know, I'm not sure what you'd be able to reuse in here. I mean, the electrolytics are probably suspect. That might be worth saving. And I think that is, I'll just check that. That is essentially wired straight across that switch that selects the ringtone. So there's probably some interesting tones on that. 2005 11 18. And I don't think that is a Timeguard part. You can buy little modules like this on Wish, AliExpress and eBay, so that's probably most likely where that's come from. And then that's your ringtone selector, that's a volume selector, and that's all there really is to it. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, take care, bye.